Welcome to Hat Chat Live. This is our unscripted, unedited show on a Wednesday night. Did I sound like DC? Welcome, everyone. It is, of course, Jake, coach of Dunkley's Donuts, and I'm here on the hosting duties. I think this might be one of only 5 episodes DC has ever missed, so everyone listening along at home will know that DC definitely isn't himself. So we're wishing him the best. But I have called in some of our favourites and a new face as well. But I'll introduce the one and only Nathan over mullet. He's made it on for a Wednesday night in DC's absence. So we are very thankful to have you on, mate.
I came on under the strict assumption that I would be hosting this one. I went, well, DC's down. Jake hosted Monday. Guess it's my turn to shine. DC didn't even give me the login to access this. So, feeling respected, feeling loved. I'll be here for as long as I want, I guess. Doesn't matter.
I think that's what we expected. There is no run sheet to read on a Wednesday night, so it actually would have suited you better, to be honest. But a man that knows all about that, of course, is our Wednesday night regular. The fourth Beatle, as some might say, but the only one of us that wears a Hat Chat hat on the show, so he gets some special props from me. And that, of course, is our good friend Bales. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, it's been a big week on the track this week, ahead of the Content Creators Cup Grand Final up against Taze. So I'm hoping to join Nathan in the illustrious group that is that can say that they are a Content Creators Cup champion. I bottled it a couple of years ago to Luke from the Ball Boys, so hopefully can avenge that loss. So sorry to Taze, but hopefully it'll be coming home this year.
Some absolute interesting fixturing once again from Bales to have a all,
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
All Fantasy Fanatics Content Creators Cup final. But the new face on the show for tonight, or at least for a portion of it tonight, for those on YouTube, we'll see him down in the corner. His name is not Knitters, not Quitters, but his fantasy team name is certainly that. And those playing along at home might have seen that if they were playing around near the top of the rankings lately. And we do have Giles on, who happens to be heating up. How are you, mate? And tell our listeners how you're travelling this year.
Yeah, I'm well, Jake. It's been one hell of a year, I guess. Definitely avoided a lot of injuries throughout the season. Probably gone a bit on my own tangent a little bit and not followed the vanilla picks, as we say. But yeah.
I think those that might have, Bales might have been doing it now, and those playing at home might have just opened the rankings, opened their AFL Fantasy app, open rankings, looking for Knitters, not Quitters. For those that haven't had the chance to do that yet, where are you ranked, and how has maybe the last 4 weeks been for you in particular?
Currently overall ranked 12th, which is mental. I don't think I've ever finished inside the top 10,000 in my 15 years of doing it. So definitely had a bit of a lucky year so far. But yeah, just last couple of weeks been pretty interesting, pretty tight. Yeah, just had a few injuries myself. Tried to play a few, dangerous picks. Like got Houston in last week, and that backfired really badly. Had Williams as well from the Bulldogs, and that also backfired. So not so smooth, but still hanging in there.
Well,
The
I think
wrong
from what I
Better
was,
Williams.
yeah, the wrong one. From what I saw, you've been top 100 since the middle of the buys. Had a really nice sprint into the top, kind of 30 odd, and then it's just been bouncing around a little bit, but a bit of a jump this week. So what went well for you this week? If a couple of the trade ins backfired to get you right up to 12th.
It was definitely. I mean, this week actually benefited me a little bit. I mean, I had Bailey Williams into Houston, and that gained me about 15 points, I think it was, and then Anderson into Golden, which was about 30 points, which isn't a real lot, but I luckily. Oh no! Oh, you still got me, boys?
Yeah, we got you.
No, we
Oh,
don't.
we did have him, but that's all right. Nathan's kicked him off the show. He's found admin rights and was like, nope, this guy's so much better than us. We're going to get rid of him.
Balls of you to assume I wouldn't have kicked you, then Bales off, then him, and lastly me.
And just stayed on for a Nathan monologue. Sorry, Bales.
And I was just because I'm looking at Giles' team there. Like the fact he's got Hall Kahana's Murchie in defence. He was obviously Luke Dacos, but he had Herbert there as his midfield cover, and then Dyson Sharp in the forward line with Fitzy on the bench. Giles, just saying about your bench, mate. Loving that you've got Sharp and you got Hall Kahan, you got Herbert and Fitzy there, mate. So you got some really nice cover to be able to loop with.
Yeah, had some really good loops. Haven't really focused on the loops, to be perfectly honest with you. Kind of didn't really have many red dots to play with throughout the year, and especially last couple of weeks until Franco got injured, and that really opened up obviously that late Sunday slot because West Coast is stuck in the graveyard. So that's really been handy. But until then, yeah, I had to play a few risks.
I think from my quick look at your team, it seems like the forward line has kind of been that strong point. You've got a couple of unique names. You've had Rankin for the vast majority of his positive performances. And outside of that, you've been running Chad Warner, which anyone in the League One group chat will appreciate Chad's love for this season. Tommy Sparrow, obviously picking him up a bit earlier than most, and Zach Bailey, of course, alongside Shees. I think you've kind of absolutely nailed that. If Cozzy Pickett was my F6, I'd be pretty stoked. So do you think that's been the catalyst, like something like that, and getting that right has been easier? Or have you had Petrarca for a bit longer than most coaches as well?
A bit like everyone else, I guess. It's about timing. Track was, for me, he was probably almost a Brownlow favourite at the start of the season. I think a lot of people had that opinion of him. But yeah, in the end, he came into my team. Well, he started in my team, and then I moved him out when he got injured. And I brought him straight back in. I took the risk. I thought I was going to get ahead of the crowd. Took the risk as soon as he came back in. I think it was round 7. And then kept him all the way through till he, really lost his form. I think I jumped off a lot quicker than everyone else.
Do you think maybe having some of those better players, that bench cover that Bales mentioned, maybe just allowed you to have a little bit more freedom to move on a guy like that? Or was it just that everything else was really ticking along and you kind of had the luxury trades that maybe some of us didn't have?
I perfectly believe, a lot of those rookies this year did play a big part. Like Sullivan Roby was a big one for me through that middle of the year. He had a few great games, and that definitely saved me a few more times and definitely got that cash gen. But most weeks I focused on, going one up, one down. And I definitely survived a lot of injury scares that a lot of people suffered. And I think that's been a big catalyst into why I'm 12th.
Well, look, you say that, but I was just looking over your team over the last few weeks. But you copped Nick Newman, you copped Baz, you copped quite a few of the names that we've all been talking about the last few as well. So I said Baz, I meant Naz. But so over the period where you've really jumped from that 30s and kind of hovering around, am I safe for a hat or am I not? And now you've gone, gosh, maybe I can give the top 10 and maybe even the prizes a bit of a run for it. It obviously says that the rest of the team must be going pretty well. Bales, any questions from you? I didn't mention that Giles is a fellow South Australian and someone who quite a long time ago he and I had a bit of history. So you must be up there batting for the South Aussies here, Bales.
Oh, 100%, 100%. SA's got to be the best state for sure. No, as I just said, it's just a great team. I guess, was there any trades throughout the year, Giles, that you made that sort of you think was a big? Obviously, you've had a great year, but was there any sort of trades you sort of can nail that, like, yep, that was a trade that I got right, that really propelled you into the top 100?
Probably the best one was getting on ranking real early. I mean, I've had him twice, I think, a bit like Jake, I think. Yeah, I had him start the season, and I got rid of him when he got injured. And then I got him back a lot earlier than most people. I think that was massive. But yeah, I think just overall, I think I've just really escaped the injuries. I don't think I've had any player other than Rankin and Track that have actually come into my side and then gone back out. So
yeah, that's interesting. And I was just looking at your starting side as well. And gosh, it looks awfully similar to mine. But if I go back to the trivia on Monday night, which anyone hasn't listened to yet, just definitely jump onto that. You know, you didn't miss a whole bunch of bullets. You know, your starting team had Rosie, Sinclair, Dawson, Dacos, Goulden, Butters. Luke Jackson, obviously a great starting pick compared to most. But then Flanders, Petrarca, and of course now your boy Nathan, as well as DC's Connor Buttering. So, you know, you've definitely had a bunch of guys who have gone out forcibly throughout the year. It wasn't by any means nailing the starting spot. Is there anyone that you already regret? You look back on, you go, I was tossing up that change kind of round one or before, and if I'd done that, I might be in the spot primed for a Tundra.
Definitely one massive one. I don't know how most people feel is Blackiston. He caused me a lot of problems early because he wasn't really making any money. And then eventually, round 5, I found a way to get him out of the side and got Sullivan Roby in. And I think that really probably changed my cash gen. And I think a lot of people got stuck with Blackiston a lot longer than they should have.
Yeah,
so that worked out quite well for me.
Nathan can attest to that as well. For you, Nathan, what do you think?
Well, I'm ranked roughly 6,165 spots behind you, and I'm looking for the only one reason. Did you have Petrarca at any point this year?
Yes, I
kind of did that. Damn it.
Yeah, I started with him. I got rid of him in round 3. And then I brought him back in round 6.
Damn it.
And then I jumped back off of him in round... Well, it wasn't until actually quite late. Oh, round 20. So, at which Petrarca went into Zach Bailey. And I think that was massive because he's had a big few weeks.
Yeah, straight into a 133. And I think that extra week of holding for you, Nathan, was... Well, I mean, I don't want to remind you, but from memory, it was a pretty poor score. Just from... thinking back to trade or spade that week.
And I don't think I traded Petrarca to Zach Bailey. I think I traded him to Brian Myers. So I think there's probably two things to learn there. One, you might enjoy your season more if you trade out Petrarca twice. I enjoyed that was the big thing. I was like, my season bad, but I only got to trade him out once. If I traded him out twice, maybe I'd feel better.
Oh, that's so good. And Giles, last question before we move on to some listener questions, which you are welcome to join us to answer or obviously jump off if need be. But the last one for me is, how do you think you're going to go over the last 2 weeks? You know, you've got a Crow supporter at number 1, so another South Australian in the powerhouse. You've got a couple more sitting there in the top 10 in front of you as well. I guess what's your hopes? Are you hoping to be the best South Aussie? Are you hoping just to solidify a hat, or is a prize or a Tundra on the cards?
Well, the aim's probably to try and somehow catch up with the Tundra chase, but you know, top 10 finish would be unbelievable, really. I mean, anything as high as I am is an unbelievable finish, but I'm definitely taking probably a few more risky trades this week to try and make or break it, and it could cost me, and it might not. I can lay some insight in if you really want.
Yeah, of course we do, mate. We'd love the insight, and if you want any thoughts from coaches that are clearly much more reliable or any positive superlative you can think of, then don't ask us. But we're welcome if you do have any questions or if you've already decided on it.
Well, subject to teams, I've gone Nass into Burgoyne.
Yes.
I think
Nice.
his midfield time in the last couple of weeks has been crazy, and he's showing that he can obviously do it. So someone's got to do it from Port Adelaide. And then I've gone Herbert into Max Hall, which I plan on using Max Hall as an emergency to see how he goes, and if he gets a massive score, I'll field Franco. And one of my other 8 premiums will have to miss out. So that's probably the biggest thing, is which premium misses out in my midfield or my forward line if I decide to go down that route.
Yeah, I like it. I think, look, I think both players look fantastic. Out of curiosity, which team do you support? Are you a Port fan or are you a Crows fan, or are you like me and kind of dismissed all of the South Australian people out there and went on my own road?
I'm definitely an Adelaide Crows supporter. So happy where we are. Hopefully we actually win a final this year.
Yeah, no pressure. I think the most likely result at the moment is the Doggies at Adelaide Oval. Could be an interesting one, and I'm not in the state, or at least I'm not going to be in the CBD. So if that happens, I'm going to be mildly devastated. So I'm kind of hoping it doesn't happen, but we'll obviously see how we go there, mate. Good to know though. So you're not specifically a Port fan. I guess I'm intrigued from some Port fans, their thoughts on Jace. I've also had a couple of messages, two now, about whispers around Tolstrup going to Jace Burgoyne because he's the only good player left in that midfield, which is an interesting thought. I don't know that I'm too high on that train, but something for you to think about at least, Giles, just before you make that call. But otherwise, I think we wish you all the best. I'd certainly love to see a single-digit hat at the very least, and if you could come away with some cash or a car, we certainly wouldn't begrudge you for that, as long as you join us again, of course, if that does happen.
Yeah, of course. Anytime you want, really. I just hope, apparently Horn Francis might be playing this weekend from a few rumours, so who knows?
Yeah, well, obviously we normally go through some teams here on our Wednesday night show. Obviously AFLW is stealing the show tomorrow night, so we don't even have teams to go through, which obviously gave us the opportunity, Giles, to have a quick chat. So thank you very much. I'm going to ask some questions.
I'm also happy to start some rumours, Jake, of my own. I've heard rumours that he's not playing. It's just me writing it to myself, just in my dream journal. But I reckon he won't play.
I guess we'll wait and see. I'm running 3 outs at the moment if he doesn't play, and if Brad Hill misses, it's going to be 4 this week, thanks to Murphy Reid on top of all the other obvious names. So it'll be a real fun one. But let's get into some questions here, guys. I've got the first one here from Matthew, who popped this in nice and early, which we appreciate. And that is, lads, I'm ranked 115. So Giles not quite as high as you, but he is also fighting for his hat, and 50 off the 100. His current plan, Nathan, is Naz to X via DPP. So keen to see your thoughts on Tristan Cherry, obviously with the Cats matchup. And should his second trade be Herbert to Cozzy to match those around me, or Sparrow or Max Hall?
Oh, sorry, was that directed at me? Oh, sorry, no.
No, it was for Nathan, and he doesn't listen, so you're completely fine to have jumped in, Giles.
So, to clarify, I think given we've got the 12th ranked coach on the show for a short amount of time, I kind of assumed that the question was thrown to
one
him.
For you. It was thrown to you for Tristan Cherry, and then we'll get Giles to see if your advice is good or not. Like, if I give Giles the mic first, then you can just say, yeah, what he said. So I kind of need him to validate you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Jake, I've done a podcast for 5 years off that entire premise. Why are you switching it up now? Sure. I mean, I feel like you're chasing it for the Cats matchup. If you've got no one else in the ruck, then yeah, go for it. I just think it's a bit chasing. There's probably other sort of higher point scorers this week. If you don't have a Goulden, I probably would prefer him there. And I would be chasing a Sparrow or a Hall, probably a Hall, rather than matching Cozzy.
All right, Giles, what do we think? Do we like Nathan's shout there, or are we going to say, no, this season's completely unique, do it my way?
I mean, there's plenty of ways you could really go about it. I think Cherries could certainly go large versus Geelong. I mean, a lot of lucks have throughout the year. It just depends on how they go. And for Herbert's Cozzy, yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. Cozzy's in great form. Just if you're trying to catch up ranks, everyone's got him. So that's my only tip.
I think it's, both of you made that point there. And I think, if you've been hunting lately, you've gone in from 300 to 200 to 150 to 115, then matching those around you while your team is humming is not necessarily a bad thing. But obviously, if you've been sliding or you're kind of a bit stagnant, then going a bit more unique might be the play. I guess just on paper, Bales, 2-week matchup, that's all we've got to care about now. Who do you think scores the most over the last 3 games? Is it Cozzy, Sparrow, or Hall?
Oh, so yeah, Cozzy got Port and the Bulldogs on with Sparrow. Hall's got Richmond and Gold Coast. I think you're 50 off the 100. Hall's got he's got the keys now, pretty much, right, with Naz out. He's got the keys to midfield. So I think he's got the high upside ceiling that you're probably after to get that 50 points. So I think I'd probably go there to attack that ceiling, because we know, like, look at that game against the Bombers early in the year, had 33 touches, 9 marks, 9 tackles. If you get a game like that, that could put you in the 100. So I quite like the play. I think what we've seen with X is that he has gone into the CBAs as a ruck when the other ruck isn't a jumper. So it depends who's your long ruck this week. So you take the punt that he is in the CBAs, so you could have the ceiling. And I think Max Hall's the guy that could pop another big score as well. So yeah, I quite like the whole play. But if you go Cozzy or Sparrow, you can't really go wrong, to be honest. They're both good picks.
Yeah, Matthew, for what it's worth, my trade-ins currently this week are Cozzy and Sparrow. I'm actually fading Max Hall. I just like the 2 matchups back-to-back are really undermanned Port into my hapless Dogs. So I think you're pretty safe there. They've both been fantastic as well. Clint Broadwood, a regular question asker, thank you, Clint, has asked us a question here as well. He said, evening, lads, would you bring in Gawn and Bergman, or sacrifice Gawn, get Grundy, and then can instead afford Zorko, Parker, Blakey, or Cherry to get Whitfield? So a few options there, but I guess let's start with the first one, Nathan. So Gawn and Bergman, or Grundy and Zorko, Parker, Blakey. Obviously, one of the above. What do we think from a Grundy perspective? Is he straight back in and straight back to Pig Brody things?
Is there any real need for him to do that? I think that Gawn, hasn't been setting the world on fire. So if it's Gawn or Grundy, then I honestly don't mind going a Cherry there, because I think it's a bit more of a punt. And then Whitfield and Cherry sort of seems like the dynamic duo of the two. I don't mind going Zorko. Obviously, a little bit of risk there. I think that's the only way I would do it. Would be a Zorko and Grundy, but I prefer Cherry and Whitfield overall.
Beautiful, Giles. Back to you.
Yeah, I would look. Personally, I would probably go with Gawn. Just because they got more to play for. So Melbourne got more to play for, given like they're trying to hunt down obviously top 6, top 4. So Gawn could put in that extra margin, while Grundy's already secured that second spot. So, from a personal perspective, probably rather Gawn. And his fitness as well. Gawn never misses a match. So, and in terms of the rest of the question, Whitfield is definitely a good option for the last 2 games.
Yeah, I guess that's the question, isn't it? If I agree that Gawn's probably the best option out of them all, how much of a gap do we expect between Bergman and Whitfield versus Gawn and X, right? Because I think that's what it comes down to there. I think, Gawn would be my number 1 guy, but if I look at it, I reckon Cherry is close enough to Gawn that Whitfield is better than Bergman, I think.
I wouldn't be touching Whitfield this week, personally. I'd be steering clear. I think that the Murdoch tag originated with Whitfield.
That is true. I forgot about that.
And Mur hasn't done that tag for a couple of weeks, but I just think it worked so well that last time. I think I do quite like the Cherry option, though, if you're going for that sitting. So if you're not as comfortable with Bergman there, I think I'd almost you could go Cherry and a Zorko or Parker Blakey and just fade Grundy, because I think Grundy's just going to keep managing him, right? Like Sydney don't have to win by huge amounts. They've got second spot, I think, locked up as long as they win. So, maybe go the defenders and Cherry if you want the upside. But I like the Gawn and Bergman play as well.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the price, obviously Jace Burgoyne's around that price too, and I think a lot of people are going him, including Giles, and we've had that question again from Eskimo Brother, who said thoughts on Naz to Burgoyne and Reed to Hall. I think that's a pretty straightforward sign-off tick across the board. Obviously, Murphy and Naz both not playing, and Burgoyne and Hall two fantastic ins. So I'm happy to
Has
tick.
Murphy been ruled out officially yet?
I believe there's been enough noise to suggest it's officially done. Besides the fact the last two games have been what they are. I did get a message saying he was out, but I have not fact checked that message being a legitimate source or just one of those many group chats that we have going that could be anything and everything. But a quick one here from very good friend of the show. It's for you, Bales. The question's from Braddle's Fantasy. He wants to know if you eat or sleep between the 17 pods you do a day. Very important questions. We're all wondering. We're caring about your health, mate. What's happening and what can you let Braddles know?
Oh, yeah, bro. It's been a long year, hasn't it? Yeah, just with all these injuries. And as you've posted on screen, I still own Petrarca, so that's fun. But no, literally, it was back to back to back tonight. We did our AFLW pre-lockout chat. I did a captain video, and then I came straight to this. So haven't had dinner yet, so which is good. So I'll eat after. But yeah, no rest for the wicked, as they say.
Good stuff, mate. All right. Nick O'Reilly's asked us one here. It's another NAS trade. Obviously, the majority of us copying that bullet. Thoughts on trading NAS to Hill and then bringing in either Zorko or Blakey from Bruin. Now, Bales, again, you're going back to back, so I'm going to suggest you're the most up with it. I've been hearing lots of noise about Hill this week, and obviously he was worried he was going to get through the game. He got through the game. Then there's been a bit of noise that he's not going to be available. What's the latest squeak on the newsroom here on Brad Hill?
Unfortunately, I don't have any inside scoop. Obviously, you got my instant reaction when it happened, and I said you got to be expletive word kidding me in that message into text. But yeah, I guess that tweet from I think Drew Jones saying that Saints might rest a few this week. Does that mean Brad Hill? Yeah, I think he plays. He played at the game and played like nearly 90% games. No, I think he played over 90% games. So I think he plays, and if he plays, I think I'm happy to trade into him against Richmond and Gold Coast. So I'd be happy to go nose to Hill, and then Zorko or Blakey. I think you'll probably sleep better at night going Blakey because you won't be worried about every single contest that Zorko goes to that he'll ping a hamstring. But Zorko's got the matchups, Gold Coast and Collingwood, right? So maybe go him. But are we happy to trade like Bruin? Like it was wet against the Bombers. He goes north into Richmond. Would you want to hold him for those two, maybe? Or
I think it obviously team dependent. It definitely depends on who you're running with. I'd prefer to loop him. I'd hate to have him straight on field, to be honest. So if that's your worst, if you don't have three, maybe four forced trades like me, then yeah, I think you're okay trading Tanner Bruin. But I think there's the opportunity he goes much better this week. But quickly, Bales, I thought it'd be nice to let you know. I just searched Brad Hill on Twitter just to see if I could get any late scoops. But the three top posts are all yours. The first one is Naz hamstring. There's the first trade for the week. And now Brad Hill. And then the second is now Brad Hill's injured with a knee. And then the third one is Brad Hill's back on, thank God. So you're hogging up Twitter with your Brad Hill post. So I can't get any extra information out of it. Yeah. Giles, are you a Brad Hill owner? Are you worried about that at all? Or have you somehow moved up these last few weeks and missed the best 23rd premium in the business?
No, I'm not particularly worried. I've jumped on Brad Hill round 19, so I think that was about a week or maybe 2 weeks after his form came to light. But yeah, obviously I've training into Max Hall as a 23rd premium, so worst case I just don't make that move and I jump back and trade Hill to someone else.
Yeah, cool. Is Hill residing in your back line, forward line? Do you have flexibility there?
Not too much flexibility now after the few recent trades, but yeah, he's sitting top of my D1 at the moment.
Beautiful. All right, Nathan, this one is for you. It's coming from Sean. He said, hey guys, pick two for the last two games. He's picked Parker, JHF. I think we'll scrub JHF because if he is named, and also it's Nathan answering the question. So Parker, Warner, Jake Bowie, and Jace Burgoyne. He needs one forward. So I guess that would bring us down just to Chad Warner in that list, and then 3 defenders.
I was going to say, well, I'll choose Warner, and you choose one of the others. Warner and Burgoyne for me.
He has also mentioned add in Zorko, I guess. So you can also afford Zorko. Would that change?
Warner and Zorko.
And Sean's then followed up by PTSD, though. So, I mean, I guess we're encouraging PTSD without knowing we're encouraging that if we're going with Zorko.
Is he a forward?
He's not a forward. Bales, any differences there?
I'd probably agree. You go Warner, and if you want to sleep at night, Burgoyne. If you don't want to sleep at night, go Zorko.
Yeah, good call. Good call. And Braddles has chucked in another one here for us, fellas. He said, imagine if someone wins, is both a Content Creators Cup champion and loses to Jake, which potentially, if you win, Bales, I could achieve the double here because Nathan might finish below me in overall rank. I've knocked you out of a cash league or two. I think that could be a win-win for everyone. You might not feel that way, but I think you'd prefer to have lost in the cash league and won the Content Creators if I was to guess.
Yes, but I'm just trying to figure out how did Braddles get this inside intel that I'd lost to you. That's what I want to know. Someone's been lurking in the league, baby. I need to know. I need to know who the league is.
No, it could have been, or it might just be me bragging about it in every group chat because it's the only thing good that's happened to me this year, Bales. I've got to have something good to talk about. Nathan, back to you, mate. I think this is a pretty easy one, maybe. Chris wants to know if we can change the Melican Award to the Off-Track Award.
Well, that's all I do in the preseason is prep those. So I'm halfway done. If anyone wants to recommend what the one is for the Baznas Award, because then I don't have to do any work this off season. It's fantastic. Halfway done. I love it. It's already written in. I've already taken a screenshot of that actually and posted it in our group chat and gone, done.
Look at that. We're laughing, making it super easy.
What about the Dake Shees Award? There you go. Maybe that one.
The Dake.
Anyone other than Bales, please provide suggestions into the chat.
The Baznas at least rhymes, Bales. The Dake Shees sounds like the worst third world cricket trophy that's ever existed. I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind. All right.
Oman and Wales are playing for the Dake Shees trophy this week.
We've got a couple more here. Connor John, I'm going to throw this one to you, Giles, because there's a few interesting ones here. So what's the best upgrade? Tanner Bruin to Bowie, Cameron to Gawn, Marshall to Hill, or Walsh to Rowell? 4 very different options there. I mean, Marshall to Hill is obviously an interesting one, pending teams, obviously whether TDK misses and whether Hill plays, but the others are a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what much point of the Walsh to Rowell one is, unless there's something I'm not aware of. I think that Rowell score was a bit of a once-off.
Yeah, he's decided to go 155 since I've traded him out, Giles. That's all we can say. The correlation may or may not be direct, but has he returned, I guess, is the question.
Well, we'll say time will tell, I guess. But yeah, the Bruin to Bowie makes sense. Cameron's Gawn's probably another sideways trade that you probably don't need to make. If anything, Cameron might be the better one at the moment. And Marshall to Hill, well, if Hill's in an injury cloud and TDK's out, then Marshall's your man, I reckon.
Yeah, I probably tend to agree. I think there's a couple there I'm more happy to hold. And rather than the trade-ins, I'm almost looking at, are we trading them out and are we actually getting any benefit there? And as you kindly reminded our listeners, it is 2 sides to every trade. It's not just who you're getting back in. I've got one question on X for us, and I'll throw them both to you. I said one question, but there's 2 questions in the question. Terrible hosting. Wednesday nights aren't my jam, Bales. But the question here from Stefan is, Bowie, Burgoyne, Sparrow, Warner, Hall, pick 2. So I'm going to suggest 1 defender, 1 forward. So Bowie or Jace, I think we answered as Jace. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, I'd go Jace, yeah.
And then we kind of covered these names, but in different questions. Sparrow, Warner, and Hall as the forward.
God, that's tough. Felt that might be the question of the week for people looking at forwards. Hall's got the ceiling. Sparrows had such a good year. I feel like Warner could have the back-to-back matchups, but does he get management like he did last week, or was that just a once-off? I think if you're chasing, I'd go Max Hall. I think if you're happy where you are, Barrow, just with the body of work that he's done in the back-to-back good matchups. But I like all three.
And you'd fade. I was going to play a game, snog, marry, avoid. That's the PC version, anyway, between those three names. But I think you've answered it quite nicely, and it's tough because they've all got at least one really nice matchup and a decent secondary matchup. So there's no way that we can use those games against them. But Stefan's second question, I'm going to throw to you as well as myself. He said, since Jake apparently plays every fantasy sport, is it Wemby or Jokic with pick one this season? And Bales and I play in a couple of NBA fantasy leagues together as well. So I'm keen to see his thoughts. I know that you play as well, Nathan, but let me. I'll get there.
If you go on one or two, I think I'm still backing the Joker in just with the body work that he's done over a number of years, but Wemby's pretty good as well. I'd go Jokic if you got to pick.
Nathan, I am coming to you slowly but surely. The thing is with you, what I'm used to is as much as you know ball, you don't actually do your research until the day of. And therefore, it's too far away for you to have any actionable insights. Whereas Bales, he doesn't leave Twitter. So that's why I have to come to you second.
Never in my life have I been so offended by something I 100% agree with. Yeah, you're completely right. No idea. Honestly, generous that you said the day before. Normally it's an hour before the draft, and I've won 4 out of 8 years. So
yeah,
it seems
doesn't mean you're no good at it. It just means that you don't need to put in any more effort than you need to. So why would you? I guess is how I'm looking at it.
I'll go for Jokic then.
Yeah, I'm with Joker as well. Giles, you much of an NBA guy? Anything to add here?
Yeah, probably still backing Jokic on a short-term 1 year kind of thing. But if you're looking long-term, I'm not sure if there's any dynasties. Then you obviously go Wemby.
Yep, good shout. I love it. All right, back to the fantasy football related ones. Gegu or GGEHU, could be any pronunciation here, said thoughts on Impey with Amon back. Ranked 105th, was considering a sideways to Burgoyne, but that would leave Roma in R3 as I held Grundy. Other trade is Naz to Sparrow or Hill. So I'm guessing the question is, are we trading Impey to Burgoyne with Amon back, Giles? Did you ever find your way across to Jarman, or you managed to miss the good scores but avoid the dud one last week?
Never found Jarman in my team. He was definitely a trade target throughout about 2 weeks ago. But I decided to go against it because I read Amon was almost back. So I didn't really want to take the risk of trading him in 1 week, trading him out the following week, and then kind of worked in my favour because Impey got tagged by McKenna, I think it was. So worked in my favour again.
Yeah, well, it's been a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Sometimes 2 weeks of really good scores followed by 1 week of bad scores, and it potentially becomes a bad trade, which is the kind of season that has been for us. But it was probably the interesting part here is, I guess, holding Roma in R3. I guess that'll depend who F6 becomes. Obviously, you'd prefer to get him out of that spot, but at the end of the day, I mean, what kind of player would you be happy to play in F6 to keep Roma at R3, if that makes sense?
I don't think I would. I think I'd be holding Impey with the Collingwood matchup at the MCG. It's a great matchup for defenders, and then I'd just be bringing in a red dot ruck and putting Roma to F6 because it sounds like TDK's you're probably leaning on the side of he might get the rest from what Ross is saying, so which means Marshall's probably going to go absolutely nuts. So I'd be getting in the red dot ruck, and then you can use someone to loop for some VCs if you don't have a red dot.
Awesome. Thank you, Bales. Quick scoop here from Pure Grant. He said the AFL website said the Dockers are set to be without key player Murphy Reid in doubt after copying a painful knock to the groin last weekend. So sounds like that is a formal clarification on Murphy Reid for Murphy Reid owners. So start planning without him. But Nathan, the L. Tomlinson has said Will Ashcroft and Darcy Wilson, or a combination of Sparrow, Hall, and Marshall, assuming TDK doesn't get named. And he has said that he is 80 points off the 100, so also hunting down a hat. And Will Ashcroft is comfortably his biggest gap where he's trying to close points.
I think it's Will Ashcroft and Darcy Wilson. I think just that is the one there. If you are 80 points off, anything can happen so long as the rest of your team is relatively also quite good. If you think your team is, missing a couple of people, then I would potentially be more keen to go a bit more unique. However, that Will Ashcroft, he just seems to get it done week in, week out. If you think you can make up that 80 with just the quality of your team, I'd be going Ashcroft. But I mean, Sparrow and Hall feels a bit weird if you're going two forwards instead of a Will Ashcroft and Darcy Wilson. I'm wondering what other mids he doesn't have that I'd probably do instead.
Yeah, and I think Darcy Wilson, obviously against Richmond, might not be the same pure role as we'd get from a Hall, but you'd expect a pretty decent score. I mean, you look at it, he did only pop an 85 against them last time, which is still serviceable in that forward line. But compared to that, 8 weeks he had of 90 plus, and I think 4 tons in there, he obviously had a really substantial uptick again this year, and his trajectory looks like he's going to be an epic player. So, yeah, I think go the ceiling score there, which should be Will Ashcroft on paper. His cheap +6s are like no other. As much as I know that frustrates a few, Bales included, it is part and parcel.
I might be getting him in this week, so I might be able to finally enjoy those 14.5 metre kicks that he seems to get on the end of so much.
Yes, well, here's another one for you, Bales. Sean has said, Bales, I missed out on finals in our paid league by 50 because my opponent traded Marshall 5 minutes before the game when he was a laid out, and I didn't. So, not sure why he's mentioned that specifically to you. Maybe just knows that you feel these things deeper than most. So,
oh no, he's in the same cash league that you're in, Jake. Sure, that's the Sean that's in the cash league. Yes, so that's why he was saying, because we were talking about the cash league, and he's annoyed that he didn't make it. Yeah, I know. I'm still bloody upset. I missed out finals in Hat Chat League 6 because the guy. Shout out to James, who had back-to-back top 500 weeks and got in over points scored 4. So that hurts that I didn't get into the ability to catch up to League One. So I'm still going to be probably 20 years away from League One. So yeah.
Them's the breaks, unfortunately. Yeah, I had a stinker last week, so the paid league finals journey is done for me anyway, boys. So that makes all of us, unfortunately. I've only got a couple more here before we'll do our final couple of segments for the podcast. With or without DC, boys, we're pushing on ahead. Big Bondi, just to finish off on that last Darcy Wilson question, Nathan said thoughts on Herbert to Darcy Wilson as a 23rd primo and Wang out. I'm assuming that means you'd sign that off, or, obviously Herbert's been pretty amazing as is. Do we think there's enough of an upgrade to use a trade on it? Is maybe the only thought I have.
No, I think that's fine. I think Herbert out to Darcy Wilson's a big upgrade there.
All right. Well, this question come back to you, Nathan. Sorry, it distracted me because Nathan Obe00 has asked us, which either be a burner or is a real. I don't even know how to throw to this, but I'm hearing there's a rumor that JHF will be out. Can you confirm? Any thoughts you want to add further? Because you made such a thrilling, outrageous call 15 minutes ago as well, and now so does Nathan Obe.
Huge if true. Huge if true. I mean, it'd be. I mean, I wouldn't change your trades around it, but if rumors are circling around, maybe just think twice.
Thank you, Nathan. I have so much more respect for DC on a Wednesday night with the way these live questions flood in, and that really tickled me pink. So thank you for that. Giles, I've got another one for you, mate, because Pure Grunt's asked us another one here. He said, where does Burgoyne fit into the Hall Sparrow ranking? So obviously we've talked about the forwards in isolation, but if you have a Brad Hill, you can grab someone across both lines. Are you kind of looking at him as he'd be the number one? I know he's the guy for you, but you've obviously got a couple of these stronger forwards already.
Yeah, I would be going with Hall first, Burgoyne second, and Sparrow third, I think, this week. I think Hall versus Richmond's probably great option. Burgoyne, great midfield time. Sparrow's probably still going to do the work anyway, but he's, probably in that order for me.
Good stuff, mate. All right. A couple of questions about TDK, unsurprisingly. If TDK is out, can we trade in Marshall? Asking my handsome boy Bales. Whispers that he will get rested. You got a fan there, mate.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that, mate. I think if TDK's out, then Marshall's as a 1 week play could be a good shout. The worry would be that if TDK's back next week, that'd be the only issue. So as a 23rd, it probably be quite nice if you can slide someone to the bench. But do we want? I guess we're happy to bring in someone that's got one good matchup compared to say like a Hall or a Sparrow that's got two good matchups. Jake, would you want someone that's got the two good matchups over the one if TDK's out?
I mean, of course, like in a theoretical sense, absolutely, like that would be the plan. It obviously depends on who that is, price point, a couple of other things as well, and also, sometimes it happens where you hear 1 to 2, but it sounds more like 2, and it ends up being 1. Whereas if it's a certainty he'll be back next week, I just wouldn't be doing it. But what I do think is I bet DC still owns him and he's still kissed. That's what I'm thinking here, to be perfectly honest. Look, we know that Marshall's got a massive ceiling. I think the reality is there's so many forwards who are really peaking at the right time that I wouldn't plan on bringing someone in just for the 1 week play, personally. But I also haven't owned a Marshall at any point this year, so maybe there's just a bit of salt in that answer as well. I can't say for sure. Now, Nathan, I've got a couple of questions here for you. One is from Paddy McNulty. He said, do we like Jack McRae if he gets named? I don't like Jack McRae at all anymore. So I guess whether he's named or not doesn't change my answer. But with the outs and with the role we know he can play, what do you reckon here?
It's been that sort of a season, hasn't it? I don't like Jack McRae if he gets named. I don't like Jack McRae if he doesn't get named. But what's the worst that could happen? I've traded in a 33 this week. I reckon Jack McRae beats that.
Well, stranger things, Nathan. But I think you're probably right. The way you started that made me think of Green Eggs and Ham. Like, I do not like Jack McRae. Sam I am was what I thought you were going to come with at the end. But there's plenty of reasons not to like him.
I do not like him in my team. I do not like him on my screen.
Yeah, exactly right. Very well played. But we've got another insight here from Nathan Obe. Apparently he has heard Charlie Common might go 100 again. Care to confirm this question is for Bales, and he is my favourite. And Nathan would never say that if this was his account. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess
I'm glad he's cleared things up.
Nathan Obe has put the rumours to bed about him also being Nathan Obermullet Bales.
Oh, if Charlie Common ends up having a career game and has his 10 intercept marks, there is a very real possibility that ton could be on the cards under the roof. So we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Last one here from Braddle's Fantasy said, have you ever seen Nathan Obe 00 and Nathan CP3 fan Obermullet in the same room? I mean, no.
Neither of us
we've seen them on the
exist.
same. I've seen them on the same screen here in front of me, in front of questions being asked and Nathan responding. But that's all I've got here. Now I have one fun one, and then I have our, of course, Wednesday night final segments. Clint Broadwood has asked us, boys, if there's one tweak to fantasy for next year, what would it be? Maybe something that a different fantasy sport does, e.g. wildcards in FPL. A really quick message from Giles saying that he had to run off. So a big thank you to Giles, obviously, for joining us the time that he did. But for you two boys, Nathan, I'll throw to you first. In this instance, is there one of the fantasy sports you play that you can see a benefit pivoting in an AFL perspective?
I think the main thing probably will be, like, the actual answer is, I reckon we get the time on ground threshold lowered. I do think it's a great rule, and I think the weighing out on the weekend showed that you shouldn't be punished double for having that sort of an experience there, particularly as your captain. So I quite like the time on ground rule. I think it'll be lowered to reduce the potential for it being a little bit abused, but I think that's probably the main change. The unofficial change, I guess, I think if I could ask Warney to put in a fix, because I seem to be able to trade in Petrarca to my team. I'd love it if in 2027 that's not an option. If that button's just grayed out for all coaches. I'd also apparently they show the hats on the rankings. If we could remove DCs or put an asterisk next to it, that'd be good.
That'd be good.
Those are probably the main changes.
You'll be happy to know that Warney is listening, because DT Talk has said 4 bloody trades to go. Let's go get them done and not think of this season again. So that might not be relevant to Christian Petrarca, but he's heard you, and no, you can't trade it a number of times. But he has followed it up with how is 50% being abused. So I was
just trying to be centrist on it. I'm 100% on the time and ground rule. I just see I think they're going to bring it down so that people complain about it less. For example, the ZZ injury, the ZZ just playing less than 50% game time, and those coaches that unfortunately had to put the captain on him were kissed. I was one of them, but still.
Sounds like there might be some bias, but reverse bias in this scenario from you, Nathan, which I certainly appreciate.
I think it might be 30%.
Yeah. Back to you, Bales. Obviously, the man of many fantasy sports. Is there something that you've seen elsewhere you'd love to bring across?
Yeah, geez, man of many fantasy sports, man of all the fantasy sports. She's a struggle to find if there's one I don't play, to be honest. But maybe in terms of not wild card, right? Because it would just make you could just overhaul your side in 1 week, right? But maybe if there's you could do it because the amount of injuries we've seen this year, maybe there'd be you could use it 2 times a year, 3 times a year of an injury trade. Whereas if you get more than a couple of forced trades, like a little mini injury boost type thing, maybe you get the 3rd trade for that week during the year. And then maybe I guess that some other AFL fantasy platforms, maybe if there's maybe a flex or something possibly, but could be one. But yeah.
If I was to pick one, it's absolutely the flex. I love the flex. I think it just adds an element to the game where it diversifies. So, if you see that defenders are having an excellent year in the way the ball's being moved, you can grab someone there. I think I love that across multiple sports, not just other fantasy football related ones. I think flex sits in a few platforms and is great. Something that will never happen, but I just love the idea of, because it is so AFL relevant, is a joke around. We always have joke around in footy tips, right? Imagine having a joke around in your fantasy footy team, and suddenly the guy who's in first is 2,100 points clear of the competition, but it's because he's used his joker. I just think it's never going to happen. I just think it would align with what we do, and it'd be a hilarious way to finish the year. Some guy that was 742nd wins the car because he's the only guy that hadn't used his joker in the last week. Obviously, you'd probably hold it over quite late in the year because your side gets better and better every week. So I appreciate there are flaws, but Warney, I'm just saying, I think it could be fun. That's all.
What about a joker player? Once a season, you can bring in just one player for 1 round that you don't own. He only comes in for that 1 game. But so you've got that you've got a Whitfield against an Essendon or something. You don't have Whitfield, and you're like, well, I can either break my entire team to get him or a 1-player joker. And at some point in the season, I can bring someone in to put the captaincy on. And maybe I've had a terrible VC that the round's been awful for me, and I just need a 400-point captain.
Yeah, no, I think there could be something fun there. I don't think we'll quite get it off the ground, but it is amusing. And last but not least, before I move to our blind ranking, boys, Braddles would like to know if Bales would like to join this Bulgarian handball fantasy cash league. Any thoughts, Bales? Any interest?
Oh, Braddles. Oh, geez. Bulgarian handball. That is something I have not heard of, but might check out. So
I like that it's even more specific than European handball. That's even better. There's a few going on in the comments, which I'll leave for now, but some great stuff there for those that are listening and can read along at home. Because boys, I've got blind rankings for the week. Honestly, it took me a little while. in the 10 minutes I had to prepare to come up with something. So I think this could be a dud of a blind rankings, but it feels only fitting because DC isn't here. We're actually going to blind rank DCs. And I obviously have a few options here. I had a few different pathways to go down. Some made a little more sense than others, and I've landed on where we're gonna blind rank 7 DCs, and they're going to be somewhat aligned to the 7 Dwarves, because I think the DCs that we've got to experience over our time, boys, relate back to the 7 Dwarves somewhat. So first of all, boys, we're going to be ranking Smug DC, aka Happy. 1 to 7. Is he your favorite, being number 1, or your least favorite DC?
Always close to a 5 or a 6. Close to a 5 or a 6. Because normally Smug DC correlates with Thad Nathan, and that he doesn't seem to really take that into account for his smugness. I think it's not knowing what's coming. I think a 5.
Happy with that, Bales?
Yeah, I was going to say I'll let Nathan go with that one and where he wants to put it. So I'll agree with where Nathan's put him.
Beautiful. All right. Happy / Smug DC is number 5. Next, we're moving to Grumpy, aka Grumpy DC. He, of course, is the DC when things go wrong, gets a bit upset at the pod, a little bit rude, and the players cop a bashing on DC's behalf. Where do we think Grumpy DC falls in here?
This is one of my favorite DCs. Makes me giggle quite a lot because his anger isn't directed at me for once on a podcast. So, it's a 2 or a 3 for me. Bales, any thoughts?
So, but you said this says 7 spots. I reckon, 3 probably sounds about right, I reckon.
Beautiful. 3 for Grumpy DC. Now we're going to move to Bashful. I couldn't think of anything for this. So Bashful is Darcy Cameron, aka the best DC.
Depends. Do I have him in my team or not?
He exists all the time. So you get the good with the bad on this one.
And to be clear, will there be a Darcy Cam win later on?
I cannot confirm or
deny. Number 2.
I'll be happy with Darcy Cameron above all actual Hat Chat DCs at this point in time.
I was thinking 2 or 4, so I'll go 2 as well.
2 for Darcy Cameron. All right. Then I've got Sneezy, which is, of course, is sick DC. It means when DC's not on the pod. Where are we going to rank that?
Low. Not enjoying this. I don't have to do it.
You could just buy a lot of gratuity, chuck it at 7, and then make him feel good about it if you wanted to. But no need to do that. I could happily put him at 1.
Fine, one it is. Really love it. My workload does not increase or decrease, but the pressure I have to come on the Wednesday pod has significantly increased with him 6. So I'll go 7.
Yeah, I'll go 7 as well.
7. Oh, look at that. DC, he's sitting at home, rubbing his hands together, appreciating the support, boys. All right, then we've got Dopey, a.k.a. Drunk Deece, Drunk DC, a.k.a. Deece. That's a whole new level of Deece that not a whole bunch of people have experienced. You boys have been lucky, part of the few that have experienced a bit of Deece.
I do think this is 1, mainly because it is actually, I do call him Deece now, genuinely, when I see him. So, number 1 for me.
Yeah, it'd be high because I've seen Deece. I'll go 1 as well.
Perfect. All right. So we've got Drunk Deece number 1, Darcy Cameron number 2, Grumpy Deece number 3, Smug Deece number 5, and Sneezy, aka Sick Deece at number 7. So you've got 2 spots left. We have Doc, aka Host Deece, so aka Wednesday nights. Obviously, that's when he leads the show. So that's a 4 or a 6.
I assume Dr. Deece was when he was explaining his doctor things. That's what I was saving 7 for.
That would have made more sense. I could have used that one, but I didn't. So
fair enough. Bales, I'll throw to you.
4, I reckon. Go 4.
Well, that leaves our last spot, which is Sleepy, which feels unfair, but I couldn't think of anything for this. And that is the DC Universe, which now is sixth, which feels woefully underrated. Bad news for all the DC fans playing along at home. But yes, once again, that is the blind rankings on a Wednesday night.
Which of the dwarfs is the DC Universe?
Sleepy, which felt also unfair, but it feels fair to put it at option 6. Anyway,
I was trying to figure out how you get human cluggage with a silent D and a silent C at the start.
I thought through all these things and I was like, nah, that's not my joke. I'm not going to make it work. But I am upset that I didn't think about Dr. Deese completely separate to the podcast. That was right there for the taking. So that one's on me, fellas. But of course, we've brought up the hour bang on the dot. So we will finish the show as we always do with some vice captains and captains. And in exciting news, Nathan, as I've taken over as the host, you've taken over as the vice captains and captains rant, which means you've got 35 seconds to prepare after Bales tells us who his vice captain and captain is for the week.
Oh, the shock horror on Nathan. That was funny.
As I type in AFL dot.
At the moment, for me, Will Ashcroft is coming in, so he is getting this VC at the moment. I think Errol's probably going to be the most popular fullback option in that final game. But if we see TDK's rested this week, I think I'm VC Marshall into Goulden, or possibly Ashcroft. So I just want to go there, but I think it'll be one of that combination. Goulden will be my captain, and one of Marshall or Ashcroft, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I have had a real struggle this week because looking at my team, there's just not a lot of guys that I like from a captaincy perspective, which is a concern at this point of the year. You almost hope you have a lot, but unfortunately, even with my trades this week, I haven't been able to improve on that a heap. The VC is Will Ashcroft at the moment, and as much as it is maybe not a popular opinion in current form, I have the C on Isaac Heaney right now. I'm just hoping for a bounce back against the Bombers, whether he plays forward or not. It could be one of those 30-5 games. And what have I got to lose? So that's where the captaincy is sitting for me. But, as always, we're going to finish this off with a real strong list of all the potential options, Nathan. I'm sure this is going to be nothing but straightforward for a man as experienced as this is you.
Vice captain Brad Hill, captain Goulden. Nice and easy. I'm not doing your job for you, Jake. You have your role. You have your one role on the Wednesday pod. I am not doing it for you. I do trade or spade. Even when there's no trade or spade, I do trade or spade, and that's what matters.
I had to do Jake's trivia. I got blind rankings. I have no time for Jake's captains. It's just not enough time in a week, fellas. But this week is a fun one, Bales. What do you reckon? Is there anyone left of field, kind of finishing the year that you could consider going?
Maybe probably the one the Saints boys, right? Brad Hill, maybe Max Hall, maybe chasing the big one. But I don't think there's much of a it's not really a week. I don't think where there's many left field ones. So maybe X, but yeah, there's not too many left field ones to be honest. I think we've, as Nathan pointed out, a few good options, and I'd probably just be stewing with those ones.
I think it's just a shame that Shees and Will Ashcroft are playing at the same time. I think they're the two. Just because Shees has been, I don't care they're playing Geelong, he's just been Harry Sheezel and finds a way each week. Whereas Will Ashcroft, obviously, we know can put an absolute ceiling up.
Yeah, she's got Mullened pretty hard last game. He did do really, really well and was a really good tackler, but with George Wardlaw in there now, I don't know if Shees is getting Mullened, whether or not he'll be still able to get to a 120 score. Because I think that's what you've got to be going for if you're not doing Goulden. So
yeah,
I find it very hard to VC Shees this week.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
maybe Myers,
10th.
But yeah.
This would be his 10th consecutive ton if he could get it up this week. So good luck to Harry either way. But they're great. Yeah, very, very tough one for him to come up against potentially. But boys, that's the end of the show for the night. Thank you to all our listeners. Thank you to all those that are live in the chat. There was a lot of questions, a lot of fun for me to learn on the fly. But again, a big shout out to Deese. Hopefully he feels better and hopefully he'll be back next week, ideally. I know that he'll be interstate. So our plan is one more Wednesday night pod for the year. And of course, only 2 more Mondays as well, boys. That's 3 to go. So make sure you get your questions in. Have a bit of fun with us on these shows over the last couple of times. But a big shout out, number 1, to Giles. Best of luck to him once again in that last minute push for top 10 or top 5. Bales, as always, thank you for being our 4th, and in this case, 3rd beater. We've progressed. We're going to be a 2-man band next week, and then our final pod of the year will be a Bales solo special at this point.
I know, I always love jumping on. We boys have a chat on a Wednesday night. So, good luck to everyone this week, and have some fun and get those AFLW fantasy teams sorted as well, because that kicks off, re-kicks off tomorrow night, I should say.
Great shout. If anyone's got any questions, there's obviously our good friends at both Free Kick and Bales who will help you out there. Not our expertise, unfortunately. I pretend it is Bales, but it certainly is not. But I better finish this up so you can get some dinner, mate. Nathan, thank you once again for your attendance, but especially for your attendance on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, you have my attendance and not my attention. And I think that's an important distinction to make on the pod.
Wouldn't expect anything else. Once again, thank you to everyone. Thank you to our partners for the year. Once again, all the best for this weekend. Good luck with teams that will, of course, come out tomorrow night. We'll catch you all soon.
Bye. Press the button, Jake. Press the button, Jake. End the podcast, Jake. Come on, DC can do it. Can't be that hard.